Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well again. We're back from our, break time, and we're gonna continue again with some grammatic forms. In the previous session, we were continuing with the business words and business phrases and some tactics for the business, some ideas for the MBAs, and some for the SATs and GREs people. So, since you are an upper intermediate and you're going to go for the upper, for the advanced and some for IELTS or TOEFL, possibilities are open for you folks. Since that you're going to go through some business details, some tiny business, we took like 30, 40, 45 minutes from your time just to tell you how the business language works in English as an upper intermediate and advanced. Now, let's take a look for the grammar forms. All the time in business, we are using reported speech and reported verbs. Let's take a look here. I am an artist. She said that she was an artist. Okay, all the time. Reported speech, or reported verb, or reported sessions. Look, when, for example, in the States we have many situations, and I noticed maybe my voice is low. I don't know why I'm loud even, and I think because due to internet, connections issues, and we are facing some delay and straddling between networks and relay networks. So today we're gonna, over our lesson like 15 minutes earlier, and due to some internet connections. So let's put it here. All the time, reported speech, or reported verbs, or reported events, or reported sessions. You get 4 things in the reported speech techniques. Reported speech, which is she said that, he told that, and we changed the grammatic forms. Reported verbs, she claims that, he argued that, she denied that all the time. Reported sessions, and by mean by sessions, for example, the war streamed that and reported, as we say, reported speech here. So, if we're gonna go through each one of them, let's go by one. First, let's go. I'm an artist. She said that she was an artist. Okay. Look here. Say and tell. He said that he was interested in philosophy. He told me that. We change it in the past all the time. The reported things are changed, situation from now to the past because she already said that. She already told that. It's already already over. It's already not tell, become told. Say, said. So everything we can change it to the past of the grammatic forms here. So this is what happened. In tense, pronouns, time words, reporting verbs, and so on. Let's go, for example. If we get some grammar rules here. For example, present simple, I like opera. But if it's simple, remember, the grammar will all the time stay in the same box of the grammar, not change. So present simple, go back to the past simple. So she said that she liked opera. We're still in the simple form. Now, if we go past simple, we went to the theater. Now, in this case, past perfect. Now, he said that they had gone to the theater. Now, come back to the previous one. He asked me, hi, what is the difference between this box you mentioned is the same grammar box and the same, but here is perfect, here past, simple. What's going on here? Let me tell you something. Look here, present simple, present we change it to past. Present, we change it to past. So I'll stay the same box. It's a change of events only. Present or future or past. But while past simple is already in the past, it's already in the past. So we have to add some perfection to it because it's already past. So we do past perfect. That's the difference. When we say, for example, present simple, go back to the past simple because it's stay in the same block, the same grammatic blocks here. But when we say about past, it's already in the past. You are reporting something past of the past in this case. But there is nothing called what we call it past of the past. There is nothing. So we have perfection of the past, which is past perfect. Yeah? For example, past perfect, now we have a perfection of the past, will stay as past perfect. Okay? Past perfect, I had read the novel. She said that she had read the novel. Because there is no more perfection than the perfect itself. Remember, there is a box and there is outside the box. Sometimes we have to think outside the box. Remember in the grammar forms here. Okay. Now, present simple, present models, which we can must, shall, or for example, will. Well, I'll start photography classes soon here. But when we change it, we become past modals, like modal verbs. Could, might, had to, would. He said that he would start, photography classes soon, but not when, actually. Remember, there is something, a technical point here in this grammar, in the modal verbs especially here. When we talk about present modals, like may, can, must, will, all the time, he said that he will start, the lesson soon. But there is no specific time here. Remember this. There is no point to specify the time because you already reported the situation. It's not. In this case, you have not to use reported speech. In this case, you have to use reported verbs. For example, when I say, he said that he would start photography classes soon. He claimed that he will start the photography lesson at 5. Now, here we are using reported verbs, not reported speech. So remember this technique, please, folks. What happened to you here all the time, and I saw many students getting confused between reported speech and reported verbs. Yes, they are actually the same. The grammatic forms mostly are the same, but the meaning change. Remember, the logical meaning, and I saw a situation, I witnessed this actually in New York a couple of years ago, a foreigner came over, and he was saying like, she said that they can close at 5. Okay, well, the lady was beside me, she said, you're reporting their talk and give a time or what? How is that possible? Grammatically is right. But logically, when you're going to go to States in this case, or to any in the West countries, it's going to change. That's why you have to go reported verbs more accurate here. So remember this, please. But we have also the WH question, reported questions. For example, when are you going to the gallery here? Now, here she said, she asked when I was going to the gallery. Well, she was actually asked me, and I was reporting myself in this case. Kind of nuts, to be honest. Anyhow, excuse me. Do you think children should be more creative? Well, I think so. He asked me, or she asked me, whether I thought children should be more creative or not. Now, here is the question how it's come. We will don't use any auxiliary verb, just with WH and as the questions, okay? And we are using actually reporting verbs all the time. Remember, we are using reporting verbs all the time. And this, what will happen? When you are using report speech in the questions or WH questions, you mislead the meaning of the question in this case. Remember this. We are talking about two-phase. This is not like intermediate or rules and obligation by the grammatic forms in the lower levels. Now you're going to the upper level and advanced and IELTS, and you're ready to understand how to comprehend and how to, comprehend the questions, how you understand the questions, how you ask the questions. Okay, there are some tiny, whiny details, and for understanding. For example, what we are facing here is this. When you are asking with WH questions, or what, when, all the stuff, we are actually using reported verbs. While the other one, if you are using yes, no questions, like do, here, either, such details. In this case, you have to use condition situation. If, or, whether, this techniques. For example, he asked me whether I thought children should be more creative. Or, he asked me if I thought the children should be more creative in this case. So here we have to put kind of like condition, but not condition, because it's yes, no question, simple. Yes, I think so. No, I don't. There is no more details to give. Remember, such question is a short answer. We don't give more details. So when you go, because the question itself is a bit what we call it sharp questions. So people who, for example, who study IELTS or TOEFL, what we call it sharp questions technique in some question, for example, in the reading session or listening session of the exam, you will see sharp past. But the past, there is nothing past of the past. There is a perfect past, perfection of the past. We are, how to say, emphasizing the historical fact. And the historical fact stay as a historical fact. Remember, 1, 2, 3. Now also we are talking about days. For example, yesterday, okay, or the previous day, or the day after tomorrow. Like such details, we're going to change the meaning. We're going to go for the next. Now look here. Pronouns and time words as we speak now. In reported speech, pronouns and time words change. For example, I will give you my latest painting tomorrow. She said she would give me her latest painting the following day. Look, there is no tomorrow. I mean, there is tomorrow in real life, but I mean, talking here in the grammar. I mean, here in the grammar, there is no tomorrow. It's the following day. What we're talking about, I went to an interesting exhibition yesterday. He told me that he had been in an interesting exhibition the previous day. There is nothing what we call it yesterday. Remember, we are reported speech all the time, and not only days, even time. All the time, we are reported. Imagine yourself when you're saying like that. Imagine you are in the front as a TV presenter. You are like a CNN presenter. So you're not going to say, she said at this moment this. No, you're reporting what she said. What she said already become in the past. What is the future? Is you're going to the future in your words, but you report it in a past way. That's why we say tomorrow's become the following day, not tomorrow. We are going like a time machine in the future and report the past, which is our day-to-day. It's a kind of like, I get rid of myself sometimes from this talk, but it's happened. To describe it in a grammar in a simple way. Okay. Now, if we're going to talk about, for example, time, okay, or some details with reporting verbs. For example, reporting verbs, advice, request, order, promises. And we got many reported verbs, for example, advice, deny, recommend, argue, claim, and so on. Now these verbs always have a specific structure. Remember, it has specific structure that is necessary to learn. Here we go. Don't see that film is actually a direct structure. Don't see that film. But when I'm reporting to myself, she warned me not to see that film. I'm reporting myself here. Okay, to warn, an indirect object, not infinitive. Remember, So we get reported verbs, indirect object, not infinitive here. So remember this, please. Like again, we think schools should teach more sociology. No, look, we are using a reported verbs, so we cannot, they said that. It's a bit weaky here. But we're gonna go, they argued that schools should teach more sociology. Now, look here is a bit different. How to know? Because we are using more here. Since we use more, not as an order form, remember, we are emphasizing something here, we are using more, so the structure we're gonna use close here. So to argue that and close. Like this. If there is nothing more emphasizing structure of the sentence, we don't need to use it. We use the previous one. Indirect object, not infinitive. While if there is emphasizing structure of like more sociology, faster admissions. No, in this case, more, faster. In this case, we are using the close here. Remember this, okay? That's why some of the students all the time ask me, sir, how we can recognize the first structure from the second structure. And basically, most of the IELTS and TOEFL students, they fall in the same problem in the grammatic forms, in the writing tactics, and actually the advanced C1 also, not only you folks, upper intermediate. It's actually, they not understand or comprehend the meaning of the question. Look here. Don't see that film, it's an order form. Order form. While here, we think schools should teach more sociology. It's a bit different. We think and more, we are emphasizing this to get jobs done. While there, it's different. It's an order form and the job already done, remember. So a bit different here. By the way, I'll give you some grammar tips here. Reporting verbs help you to understand the opinion of speaker. Make sure you are different the meaning of common reporting verbs such as argue, claim, and argue promises. Remember, the meanings give you, the meaning of reporting verbs give you alternative meanings. For example, when I say, he argued that, when I say, he said that, but I'll not understand he was angry with it or not, I just report what happened. But when I say it's arguing, he argued that situation, it's mean he is intensively arguing with that. So either he's agree or not agree with it, or or disagree with it. So in this situation is a bit, we have to notice that we are using reported verbs more advanced. Let's go for more practice and exercise here. Now, if we go for exercise 1, I went to the opera yesterday and really enjoyed it. Now, this is a reported speech. She said that, what? I'll give you a few seconds. If you notice that, and if you're okay with it, we will continue. Now remember, this is already, you are reporting past. You are reporting the past. It already happened yesterday. So remember, the box, we argue that in this case. So which one we are doing this here? Which one? If you notice that, okay, we are using the close session, this one. We're using the close session. By the way, there is a difference also between the previous one, as indirect object and plus not a plus infinitive. All the time, some of them, as you see, there is not here. But sometimes there is no negative form, and we still have to go to one indirect object plus infinitive. There is no negative here, sometimes. So not here because all the time it's coming as a negative form. That's why we are using it. Remember this. It's not like a conditional situation here. No, it's possible we're using, that's why I told you, think outside the box, especially for the guys in, university preparation exams or TOEFL or IELTS, SAT, GRE's exam, upper, advanced. Sometimes we have to think outside the box, not inside the box, how things will work. And if we see now the examples here and some exercises, actually we are carrying on with the same. Let's go for the third one. The museum hasn't had any international recognized exhibition for several years. The critic announced that. Now the critic announced that it's already imperfect. So perfect, stay perfect, because past perfect, perfection. Remember it. So the critic announced that, it hadn't had any international recognized exhibition for several years. So remember, if you think as a structure again, it's so simple. Reported speech and reported verse is very important even in business language. Why I bring this subject today with the business. All the time, in any meeting, in any conference, you see, and you will see maybe in the future for some of you or students, all the time we are reporting situation, reporting events, reporting people, reporting dialogues, reporting projects. Because without reporting, there is no decision. And without decision, there is no meeting. And without meeting, there is no business. Remember. So the reason why I connect the business with this grammar, because we've been using it for all the time. And this why it creates sometimes conflict between business people, and how they explain some details. For example, let's put it this way. What does the theater director intend to do and increase the ticket sales? Now this is a reporter on TV. The reporter asked what? What the theater director intended to do to increase ticket sales. It's remind me about a question, it's a riddle-ish question, like a riddle, but like it's a technical question. For example, when you ask someone, what do you think about the financial crisis on Earth? Now, basically, every one of you will think about financial crisis because it's the first part of the sentence, which is like, oh, financial, credit card, payments, money, everything. But you forget the word Earth. So basically, you should answer, well, sir, Earth is a planet. There's no financial crisis on the planet. It's actually the financial crisis on the world, the people, not the planet. So it's the same concept here. See how I give you the questions, and I'm sure you thought about it in financial way. Like, you think about it like it's a financial situation, it's money, credit card, deposit, everything. While I'm talking about something else, about planet Earth. This is what will happen. All the time, in report speech, look to the meaning of the question itself. Don't look sometimes to the grammatic forms. Sometimes you have to think outside the box to understand the meanings of the questions. Now, let's go back to the previous page. As you see, when we change the tenses here, and when we change the possibility of tenses, all the time, for example, as we say, present simple, past simple, past perfect, past perfect, past perfect. Okay, what about past perfect continue? Or continue perfect tenses? Okay? What will be if there is a continue of perfect tenses in this case? Think about it, because our coming lesson will cover that also. What will happen? What would happen if there is a future continue? There is a future continue in this case. What will happen if there is, continuous tenses in this case? Think about it, because our next sessions and next lessons, we will cover all the tiny, whiny tactical details. Some of them even, you never heard about them in the normal grammatic forms, but is being used in literature, English literature here. So it's more interesting to use about it, and we go for, like just say or tell, we are going for reporting verbs. One more thing here. About the questions, when you're going to the gallery, she asked me when I was going to the gallery. Okay, look here. Do you see anything in the past? No. Do you think children should be more creative? He asked me whether I thought children should be more creative. Now, everyone in the questions and answers here, forget about one thing. There is nothing past here. It's actually, I'm reporting what the event, what happening now. So, for example, an ex of my friend, he asked me about it just 5 minutes earlier, and I just reported at the same time. So people ask me, should we go into the past in this case? Well, this is a question form. The question form all the time, remember, the questions are beyond the time. So all the time when there is a question form, is not going, you see it here, she asked me when I was going to the gallery. Okay, I was going, not I went, remember. He asked me whether I thought children should be more creative or not. Now here also, he asked me whether I thought, not he asked me like in the past form. Now we said all the time the reported speech all the time we are talking about the past. But sometimes the questions go beyond the past. So remember, you have to understand the question itself and the answer. So you can easily comprehend what, for example, I am saying to you and what you're going to reply. So, my dear friends, as today, you know, due to the internet connections and some issues with the network, we supposed like to end up our session like within like in 15 minutes from now, but due to the high traffic situation and I mean the internet traffic here and you know the problem with some line disconnection here, so we're gonna end up the lessons for today. I hope I'm gonna see you next week. We're gonna go more details in reported verbs and reported speech, but in a forms that you are not even seen before. So I will see you guys, I hope, next week. Stay safe, wash your hand, and good luck.